Welcome to this day of programming from Range of Motion Individualized Programming. We start each day of training with pre-exercise dynamic movements, identifying the movements in that day's training and moving our body through the required ranges to prepare it for movement. From there, we move straight into pre-exercise mobilization work. Pre-exercise mobilization work identifies structures which may be tight, which will limit the performance of that individual in their subsequent exercises. You can see here full demonstration videos on how to perform each of these, as well as all the movements in the sessions themselves. From that point onto pre-exercise activation work, where we turn on those underactive muscles to create strong, safe and efficient movement in the sessions coming up. The individual will then build to their working weights or full movements for that session. And now we get into the exercise programming meat. So the real meat of the day's work for this individual. This is an absolute strength session, two parts. Part A, we're focusing on dynamic effort work, moving very fast using a light level of resistance, but using some bands to create what's called accommodating resistance, which is a very effective way of building power. Part B of this session is more of the max effort work as opposed to the dynamic effort work we saw in Part A, where the individual will do either deficit deadlifts or rack pulls based on a weakness that we identify for them, and front squats. You'll see in this session, and with all the sessions we program, we do have very detailed session notes, which look at things like the programming science, the reasoning behind what we do, the health and body composition benefits, performance benefits, strategy, how it should feel, scaling guidelines, and common mistakes. You'll also see that we have demonstration videos, again, for each of the movements in the training sessions themselves to allow the individuals to ensure that they are performing the movements correctly and getting the most that they can out of their training. Following this, we can see we move on to the second part of training for this individual for the day. This is an energy system interval session where we are focusing very much on multiple modes and types and varieties of exercise, but very high intensity interval-based work where they're not limited by skill or stamina, but purely cardiorespiratory endurance. And again, you can see the session notes here with this session. Final piece of training for the day is a legless rope climb ability EIP. What's an EIP? Exercise Improvement Program. This is a series of very short 5-minute sessions that we program at the end of each day's training for our clients. It allows them to work on something that we have identified to be a weakness or a major focus for their training at that time. A little bit of extra practice and deliberate practice for those movements. The end of the day's training onto some post-exercise stabilization work to help to turn on any of those underactive muscle groups, and also some post-exercise mobilization work, again with a comprehensive video library here to ensure that those muscles that are maybe overactive or tight can be released to create future safe and efficient movement.